the capoeirista doing the ginga is Omar Garcia. And he is in what looks like an MMA match. Oh, he ate a kick to the rib. He's fighting a guy that looks traditional, trained. Ooh, he's about to meia lua de compasso, I can tell. His opponent definitely doesn't know that he's about to get head kicked. Watch. Watch. He's telegraphing. You see what I'm talking about? That's what I'm talking about. You know, when they do that type of move where it's like I'll describe it later. It's hard to describe while I'm watching, but I'll explain to you why I knew he was going to do meia lua de compasso. So, that was another one, but only one hand on the ground that time. Oh. He's got to respond better with his punches, man. You see that a lot with capoeira people. Their punches aren't there. Like, their kicks are amazing, but their punches aren't there. Oh, there you go. So, in the clinch range. Oh, there we go. Oof. Wild punches. So, a little takedown by Omar. And that's about it. He actually stops it. So, it's a lot of ground. But let me just show you earlier how I knew he was going to do a meia lua de compasso. We're going to slow it down. You're going to see a step there. You see? Not there. Not that one. That was a martello right there. You see that? That is the precursor to a meia lua de compasso. The thing that people who haven't trained capoeira don't realize about the meia lua de compasso is that you have to overcommit this leg a little bit, because if you don't, your kick's going to go this way. So this foot has to be about here. So when you post the triangle, the compass, as you say, the half moon can go towards your opponent. So when you do this kind of step where it looks like you're almost giving your back, that's like a sure telltale sign he's thinking about a meia lua de compasso, because you're not actually giving your back. You're giving yourself the torque to do that amazing kick that everyone associates with capoeira. So when I saw him do that, I'm like, okay, he's preparing, he's testing the waters for it. And then he did it. Great little head movement. You see, he's not keeping his head on center line, right? Watch this. You see this? This is a telltale sign. You see that? Look at that. Look at him on the ball of his feet. You see that? Boom. In real life, right, because the opponent's adjusting too. So, there's a dog with me. So, the dog's crying if you're wondering what that sound is. This is Ken Hitman Tran versus Marcos Lelo Aurelio. So, you've seen a clip from this before. We've featured where Marcus fell, kind of. But I wanted to show this to give it more credit. So, look at that. Meia lua de compasso, but Ken ducks it. So, Marcus is probably the most well-known capoeira and MMA type of person. And he is extremely, extremely talented. His chin's a little up because, you know, in capoeira, because your stance is so low, whoo, you start getting used to looking at your opponent while you're below him in levels, right? So that's why you see Marcus with his chin higher than normal. So that's a bad habit that you see. So this was pretty cool. He does he takes Ken's back, and then somehow okay, I don't know what happened. I thought I saw a cartwheel, but so his back standing. That was good leg kick, chop at the legs. Oh, that was awesome. Look at that. You're having him scared now of your spinning kicks. And I think if Ken's going to download information, he's going to very quickly figure out, just don't play into his game. Get into punching range with him. Right? That's not good. You don't want to be exchanging kicks with him. He's probably more deceptive. I'm not going to say he's better at kicking, but he's more deceptive with his kicking. So, but Ken's leg kicks are working. The thing is, one of the things Marcus can do is, a lot of people who incorporate capoeira into their striking will use it as either a kind of last-ditch thing, like if you're in a bad position, you're not in your most optimal stance. Oh, he fell. Your capoeira can get you out of certain positions that, let's say you didn't have capoeira, you wouldn't be able to do. On top of that, capoeira can be used as what's called an exclamation. So if you throw like a jab cross hook, then you could maybe follow it up with like a cool capoeira kick. So see, that was Marcus doing like a Hail Mary. He was not in the right position. I'm just going to go back. He had his almost had his back taken. So we'll watch him. So you see that? He realized, oh my God, I'm about to get stuck in the cage. So he did a little emergency move that worked. It surprised Ken. So kind of emergency last-ditch effort. Capoeira is very helpful, especially if you're not in a position that you're normally used to, right? Or what the opponent's normally used to. It's used as a good exclamation, right? And then it's also pretty good initially for confusion, but if he's a good fighter, eventually he's not going to play into your game. But I like that. He did a spin kick and he followed it up as the opponent was trying to get out of the way. He followed it up with a punch. That was a push kick called a bansal that Aurelio threw. So you see this a lot. Capoeira people tend to be a little bit more square, right? Because the Ginga, you step backwards, your shoulders are square. So Marcus still has that. But if you want to see displays of Capoeira, like as in Capoeira's at least 40% of his arsenal, Marcus is one of the best people to look at. So what I was going to say earlier is because of the way Capoeira is trained and the way you do it in Hoda and stuff like that, there's a little bit too much of a telegraph. You can read it, and I think that's what Ken's realizing. He's starting to be able to read, because to get a lot of these... Ooh, that was great. That was a great little deceptive move by Aurelio. A lot of these strikes require a little bit of wind-up, right? Not all of them. Like that case right there. He almost... Marcus used the wind-up as like a deception to go straight in. But a lot of the moves, especially the spinning moves, need a lot of shoulder or hip wind-up, right? So it's if you start getting used to reading it correctly. So Marcus says he got kicked there. See, the square thing, man, squared shoulders is not the most optimal. It also affects your punching power, too. So, oh, look at that. Dude, for King of Dragons, the Taiwanese league I always cover, they really need to feature some capoeira. What do you guys think about that, man? So this is Omar again, Omar Garcia. And look at him. In this case, I don't know what the level is of this MMA match, but his opponent, I think, just isn't too experienced, because his opponent just... The moment the pressure came, his opponent just didn't know what to do. But still, you see some cool capoeira combos. We'll go back to this. Right there. See that? Oof. Oh my God. And then a meia lua de frente to a chapa, as they say. He had some good moves. I'll show you. He noticed his opponent had... See, his opponent was attempting a Dutch block. That a spinning side kick. That was a little meia lua de frente. Or it was potentially a martelo. That was kind of like a martelo, like a roundhouse kick. Oh, he even followed with a punch. That was pretty good. So again, this doesn't represent how good Capoeira is, right? Because we don't know how good his opponent is. And from my understanding, I think this opponent's pretty new to this. But you see some really cool combos. I think what this is a good example of is that whenever there's a big skill difference, you're able to pull off a lot of cool stuff. Like, remember that match where Chilala used like 80% Kung Fu? It was because the other guy was just not very skilled, right? So this is something to keep in mind. Like, if you see this, you might think Capoeira is amazing, but it could just be his opponent hasn't really sparred or hasn't really done much of these competitions. And to show what Marcus is capable of, this is one of his biggest highlights. Look at that. A meia lua knockout. Meia lua de compasso. So, most people in Capoeira, they train their meia lua de compassos on both sides. So, notice he launched a left. So, his base was from his right? So, that's the one thing. Like, when I trained Kung Fu as a kid, a lot of stuff was very right hand and right leg dominant. There's a lot more symmetry / cross-lateral activation of both sides in Capoeira. So you see that benefit here. And it's really interesting to see how this landed. So I'm going to slow this down. So it was actually his foot. You see that? So it was the whole foot that landed. Some people say that the meolua, it should be kind of the heel part. So it should be this part of your foot that lands, but so it's actually good to see Marcus do this, because I actually use my entire foot, but some people say you're supposed to use this part, like whatever that's called, the root of the foot, or I don't know what this is called, the hard part of the back of the foot, but he's using the entire, almost like a slap, really, really hard slap with his foot, but it worked. It worked. Look at that. So if you guys want to see more of Marcus, maybe we'll do one. I think I've reached out to him before. See, that's the thing. His punches are just not good, man, because there's slaps in capoeira, but I don't know how much boxing they have. His kicks are amazing. So just don't get in his kick range. That's one of the lessons.